Welcome to this edition of Best of the Best, where we interview the world's leaders in healthcare, politics, sports, and business while sharing their secrets to success. Now here's your host, Dr. J. Murray Hawkins.
Tom Antion has never had a job. He's an internet multimillionaire, guy next door, and founder of the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country. He's the subject of a Hollywood documentary called The American Entrepreneur, premiering this summer. I've known Tom for 20 years and we've spoken on the same stage multiple times. He's one of the smartest businessmen I know. He has a huge heart. He is fall out of your chair funny, and I'm honored to call him my friend. Tom, welcome to Best of the Best.
Oh, thanks, man, Jeff. The last time I was in a studio, virtual or real, it was 100 degrees in Palm Springs, and I sweated my way through the interview. I hope this will go easier.
Yeah, I think you kicked my ass in tennis that day as well, so let's not talk about that.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, so okay, so first question I have for you, Tom, as we get into this is, so how do people make their hobbies tax deductible? Tell us about that.
Well, this is something I've been preaching for a long time because, most of the people that maybe be listening to this will be in the U.S., but tax laws are pretty much the same around the world in most developed countries, where if you're in business, you can deduct legitimate business expenses. Well, nobody says you have to not enjoy what you're doing as a business. So one of the ways you can do it is, let's say you love golf, but you feel guilty going for 4 hours and leaving the family, and it costs a lot of money and all that stuff. So you put up a website. You can make a world-class website if you know what you're doing for $150, all about golf. And then you can have an affiliate product where you recommend somebody else's product, and then you get a commission if somebody buys it. Guess what? You are in business. Even if you don't have an LLC or anything, you file a Schedule C in the U.S. at the end of the year, you're in business. And a lot of the things you do to promote that product are tax deductible. Like I did it with tennis. I have the dubious distinction of being the largest person ever to produce and star in a tennis training video. Right? So I call it Fatso Tennis. And so my ball machine's $1,800. My rackets are a couple $100 a piece. You got to have a PhD to pick the strings for them. So I created a tennis DVD. I sell it. It makes all this tennis stuff tax deductible. So I'm not an attorney or accountant, but I've had hundreds of them in my audiences over the years. And they all say, yep, that's perfectly legitimate. And then you don't have to feel guilty. You can actually make money on your hobby and then do more of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, for people watching this, Tom, so how do they get money coming in online within a few days? How does somebody do that?
I think you'll be surprised at this, and you've even known me for a long time. I would say eBay. I put them in eBay because they can have money coming in a couple of days. And I don't, some of my background. I came up very frugal. My dad came from Syria on a cattle boat. We would get used lumber and straighten the nails out, and you reuse the nails. I mean, that was what I grew up. So I still buy stuff on eBay and these buying apps like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. So I bought something off eBay, Jeff, and it was local. So I went to that guy's house to pick it up, and beautiful house. He had this $500,000 motorhome out front. He came to the door dressed beautifully, invited me down to his shop. I was going to buy this tool off of him. So we go downstairs. We're heading towards the shop. And Jeff, everything to this point was normal.
Okay.
We're going down to his shop, and I look over in his basement, and there are hundreds of ladies' bras hanging from the ceiling of his basement. So I'm like, oh my God, he lures people in and kills them and hangs their underwear up. I'm thinking all these things. So I go in, I buy the tool, everything's normal. We're talking about our dads and stuff, and we're on our way out. And I say, I got to ask you, what are all these bras hanging up here for? And he says, oh, my daughter goes to thrift stores. She knows all the thrift stores. She buys the ones you can't find the right size and cleans them up, sells them on eBay. $200,000 a year she sells of used bras on eBay that she probably paid $1 for and sells them for 40 or 50 on eBay. All right, so that's one of the ways. You don't have to have a website. If you have a PayPal account, you can clean out your basement and be making money within a day or so. So that's just one of the many ways you can make money quickly.
That's awesome.
I was thinking about this, but I'm thinking if I tried that idea and hung around the thrift store bra department, I'd probably get arrested. So I'm not going to do that.
Exactly. Especially now if you had to wear your mask too, right, Tom?
Yeah, they would be able to know I wasn't a girl.
Yeah.
Although people do ask me a lot of times, I'm always trying to lose weight. I said, they said, how much weight you want to lose, Tom? I said, I just want to get down to a B cup. That's good enough for me.
All right, next thing. So you say you couldn't stop the money coming into your checking account if you tried. Explain that to people listening.
Well, that sounds like BS, and I agree. But one of the things, if you want to get publicity and get on great shows like this, is to make outrageous statements. However, you got to back them up or they'll never trust you anymore. So the way this happens is called a residual affiliate program. So what I did is a long time ago, I wrote this book in 4 hours, an ebook in 4 hours in a layover at McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. This book has brought in as of this morning, $3.63 million. And it's a free ebook. And that sounds like BS too, right? Mm-hmm. Well, here's how it works. So in the book, I teach people how to do something, but they can't do it unless they purchase or lease the tool that's necessary to do the thing that I taught them in the book. So this tool that they get, it costs them $129 a month or $1,200 a year to get all the benefits of what I taught them in the book. Well, some of the people have kept it for 15, 18 years, this tool, and I keep getting paid. So I recommended it to them once, but as long as they keep the tool or they join a membership site or they buy supplements over and over or things like that, I keep getting paid. So you recommend it once and you get paid forever as long as they keep in it. So I'd have to hide out in Mexico, shut out down all my accounts. The money just keeps coming. And I call this like an insurance policy for your family, because if I got sick, I got in a hunting accident a couple years ago. I mean, and Jeff, it would have been a great story had I gotten shot. No, I fell on a log and I perforated my intestines. I'm in intensive care for a week, 6 months, a big hole in my stomach. I can't lift over 5 pounds. Money kept coming in the whole time, even when I was in intensive care. When you set these kinds of things up as a residual affiliate program, I couldn't stop the money coming. Guess what? I don't want to, but I couldn't if I wanted to.
No kidding, right? Okay, so let's go to this now, Tom. So talk about how you say recruiting young geeks to help you. So how does that work?
Well, I started this in 1997. By the way, I'm not sure if you remember Ilya. He was my first young geek that worked with me. He just sold his third startup. He sold Pluto.tv for $340 million to Viacom. And I told him, next time I come to LA, you're buying dinner, buddy, because I started him out. Yeah, so these young kids they're just they came out of the womb swiping screens and they know how to do stuff. Like I'm known as the king of ka-ching because my email goes ka-ching when an order comes in. And so I was thinking, I would love to have that ringtone on my cell phone, but I'm thinking, man, it'll take me all day to figure this out. A young girl in the office came in, took my cell phone, took it away for 10 minutes, came back. It goes ka-ching. Do I know how she did it? No. Do I care? No. Does it go ka-ching? Yes, it does. All right. And that's the kind of speed and things, because so many more mature people get hung up on the technology and all day it takes them to fight with their computer and then they're too tired to sell anything. So I teach them to recruit young people, even out of high school. And one of the ways you do it, you go and call up a high school. You can't just go down and say, hey, I'd like to have a kid. Right?
Yeah.
At least that's what the policeman told me when they took me away. Right? No, you call up and you talk to the guidance counselor. You ask them if they have a computer club or who's the computer science teacher. they know who all the little nerds and geeks are. You want the kid that's never going to get a date in their entire life. That's the kid that you want. Right? And you tell them, you tell the guidance people, look, I've got evening, weekend, and summer work for these kids. And you can't compete with the school year, so it's got to be evening, weekend, or summer. And you tell them that they'll contact the parents for you. And these kids are thrilled to death. They're not cutting grass or flipping burgers for money. They're working with computers. So they will make your life so much easier when you find the right kid. I mean, I'm still using, let's see, this would be 24 years later, stuff that kid, Ilya, taught me in 1997 when I recruited him. So these kids will just change your whole business life so you can concentrate on making the money and they can take care of the technology, just like happened before this show. You sat there looking all pretty and somebody else was doing all the, figuring out the mics and all the stuff. See, that's really the way. And you're paying minimum wage. You're not paying $50, $100 an hour if you went to a professional firm. So this is a really important thing for people.
Well, before I get to the next thing, Tom, on podcasting, I want to go back to something that you taught us a long time ago, my wife and I, Tracy, whose ankle almost got broken in your house.
I know.
We'll talk about that. Wasn't
Luckily
Tom's
there
fault.
was a doctor in the
down the stairs, but so you had a couple of websites I just love. One was, I think, a eulogy.com and weddingtoast.com. Those are so unique. And just tell real quick, like, how those crazy topics are making you money still.
Yeah. So I ended up doing the eulogy for my dad. I'm the baby of the family and the only professional speaker, so everybody shoved, you do the eulogy. And it just kind of poured out of me that this thing that I did about my dad's leadership principles, and then people were starting, oh man, you should make a movie out of that. You should do this and that. And I'm thinking, I don't know, So I ended up thinking, well, a lot of people are distraught when it comes to, the funeral, and it's going to come up whatever happens. So I wrote a book called Instant Eulogy, how to do a eulogy very quickly when you're upset and to get it done. And it sold like $42,000 a year for 9 years straight. And I thought, well, what else can I do for speaking that's speaking related? Because I made my original fortune with public speaking stuff, and most people hate public speaking, so it wasn't that easy. So I came up with the wedding speeches and wedding toasts, and so those two brought in $72,000 a year for 9 years straight, and they still sell today. It's just they're a fairly low price product, so it costs more to promote them as it used to. Yeah. But and the thing I would warn people against nowadays, I love the money coming in from that, and I helped loads of people. I'm thrilled about that. But what I don't like about it is the people that bought those books were one-time customers.
Yeah.
That was the last thing they'd ever buy. It was just they were desperate to buy something. So now if you're going to do something like this, and we do ebook masterminds and teach you how to do digital products, but we want you to think, okay, what's the next thing somebody could buy forever? Like if it's golf or tennis or automobiles or go-karts or, leadership, there's always another thing you can sell that person once you get them once. So I love those books for what I did for people to help them and the money. But nowadays I wouldn't do a book like that. I want to think further. I call it like the chess theory. You're thinking so many moves ahead.
Got it. Okay, so let's jump into podcasting now. So obviously this is a podcast we're doing right now. It's video and it's audio. And so I got into that now because, again, it's taking off so much. Another way to kind of help me develop relationships with people, et cetera, promote our businesses. So tell me, why is podcasting taking off so much?
Well, I poo-pooed it for many years because people were just kind of hearing themselves talk and nobody was making any money, and they were all proud of themselves like they're a big radio DJ. But the reason I got into it was for a couple things. One is that new cars are being podcast enabled. So you can my podcast is called Screw the Commute, based on the fact I never had a job.
Yeah.
So you can just say into the dashboard of your car once it's set up, hey, play Screw the Commute podcast, and boom, it starts playing, and the listenership has exceeded XM radio, which people have to pay for. So that's hundreds of millions of more listeners right there.
Yeah.
And the other thing that pushed me over the edge was all these in-home devices like the Amazon Alexa Echo Dot thing and the Google Assistant and all those, where people can just say, hey, play Screw the Commute podcast, and it starts playing in their home. Yeah. That's another, I don't know, 200 or 300 million so far devices that have been sold, and they're going crazy like crazy. So between that and the regular listenership and the fact that it's the only medium where people can learn and be entertained while they're doing something else, I thought this is the time. So I don't know, 2.5 years ago is when I got into it, in 425 episodes as I'm recording yours today on Screw the Commute. So and it's making money. It made money from episode 1 if you become your own sponsor. And so it's taken off like crazy. If you have products, you can make money faster. If you want other people to sponsor you, you got to work yourself up to have enough listens that people will want to give you money to be on your show.
Right. All right. So again, as we're closing on this episode, Tom, what do you want to leave people listening here? What do you want to leave them with?
Well, you know, I'm sitting back and watching all the death and destruction from this pandemic. And for 23 years since I've been teaching this, I've been begging people not to be in that situation where they're stuck. And, you know, there's things with the kids going to school. I don't know. They're trying to tell you they're burst into flames or something. I don't know. They're scaring the heck out of people. And people have to either quit their job if they even had a job. So if you can get the skills to sell from home, have a business from home, there's massive tax, great things that happen from it. And you're not stuck, you know, even if with this worldwide pandemic, my business hasn't changed one bit because I can sell all around the world from home. And especially if you concentrate on digital products that are 97% profit, then you got to mess up really bad to not be able to make money at 90%, 97% profit. So I would highly suggest the business people on here, get your kids into it. Even we had an 8-year-old write 3 books and a 12-year-old write 3 books, you know, so get them into it early so they're never going to be stuck the rest of their lives with worrying about where the money's coming from.
That's great. All right, Tom, so people want to get in touch with you or get some of your products. What's the best website for them to go to?
Yeah, they could go to screwthecommute.com. I have a free ebook on how I automate things. So they could go to screwthecommute.com/automate free, and they can download this ebook. Just one of the tips that this kid taught me in 1997 is the one that saved me 7.5 million keystrokes. So I'm lightning fast, and my workload is knocked down with all the tips in this book. So screwthecommute.com/automate free will lead you to everything. You can get on the podcast, and then if you'd like any further training, you can see it all there.
That's awesome. Hey, Tom, thanks for being on the show. And again, look forward to having you back on when
well, I like to be with people that are the best of the best. Apparently that title is you. So
well, it's you. I'm getting the best of the best on our show. So you're definitely in that category, Tom. Again, I appreciate your friendship over the years, all the help you've given us, and just keep kicking ass, man.
Say hi to the wife and the gorgeous young girl that was on my show, doing great things.
Thanks, Tom.
Tiffany. All right.
For those of you watching, again, if you're looking for a way to get on the internet, make some money digitally, and not have to be dependent upon a job, then please go to the website. We're going to have that on the bottom of the screen. Get connected with Tom. He is the man. He's helped us out a lot, and that's why I want him on the show, because of what's going on in the world right now. As he said, having your own business online, even if it's kind of a side business, kind of supplement your income until that can actually replace your money you're making from your job, then do it. And Tom's got all the resources you need. Again, best I know at doing it, and very creative, great guy to work with, and he'll just pour his heart out to you. So again, make sure you check out his website. Thanks for watching this episode of Best of the Best. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.